I didn't want to start a YouTube channel. Being in front of a camera like this is just so not natural to me because I'm an introvert. If I could choose, I always preferred to be behind the scene. I've been growing my business for years without showing in front of a camera so much, and it has worked just fine until now. So for a very long time, I avoided creating this channel. But the past 1 year changed everything. A lot of pruning, a lot of things got stripped away. All the solid plans that I thought would happen just didn't happen the way I expected it to be. Comfort zone collapses. So a lot of that makes me think, and it got clearer and clearer, that my life has never been about an easy path. I grew up in a pretty strict family, and I want to make sure I say this gently because my parents, my family, they all did the best that they could with the information that they got at a time. There were good memories, there were a lot of love and all of that. But what I want to highlight in this particular section is that I was raised with so much fear, subconsciously, most of the time. It's the fear of not doing good enough, the fear of not showing up enough, the fear of what people might think about you, the fear of not achieving enough. A lot of different kind of subtle but pretty strong fears on its own. A lot of that actually around the fear of asking questions of something that is out of the norm. So I remember a few scenarios growing up when I asked kind of like a thought-provoking questions about life, about existence, and I pretty much got shut down immediately. So early on growing up, I learned pretty quickly just to follow and don't really ask of anything that is not, the normal thing, right? Otherwise just swallow it or shut it down. I got married when I was 24 years old, and that's when everything started to change because for the first time, I was finally allowed by my parents to get out of the house and study abroad, which was something that I always wanted to do since I was probably in middle school. So this is when I started to see different sorts of belief system, religion, and all the perspective of lives and all of that. That's when I started to see all of it. And once I saw that, it's exactly when things started to crumble. I feel like a lot of the things that I believed growing up started to not making sense anymore. I started to ask a lot of different questions, which was very hard for me to find the answer to once I kind of entered this phase of new beliefs and perspectives. And with that came a lot of anxiety. So I left those beliefs, not in a rebellious way or anything. It's just that when things doesn't seem to make sense anymore, when I questioned a lot of things and I just couldn't find the answer, and if anything, what I found was contradictions, I am not staying in the position where I feel like a lot of people trying to force me into. And from there, I started to question a lot of things. I started to question about God. Is he even real? If he is, then is he actually a good God? And who is the right God? Or what is the right God, right? And I also question things about our existence. Why do we exist in this world? What is the purpose? What's going to happen after we die? So I have a lot of these questions when I was around 25 years old at the time. And it was quite hard to keep going on to life like a day-to-day normal thing when you still have all these big questions unanswered above your head. And I remember I was quite busy in that period of life because I was studying my master's degree. I worked 2 jobs to pay for the tuition. I didn't belong to a rich family, so I had to work my bottom off to be able to pay for it. And I just feel like at the time, I didn't have time for this. I didn't have time to question this and to research this thing. I can barely have time to breathe and to cook my meal every day. So I ended up becoming agnostic for about 7 years since then. But deep down, I feel like I never really want to stop searching. I just didn't really have the time for it or didn't really prioritize it enough. So I got invited to church at some point, and at that time I remember I was feeling very cynical, being who I was at the time, because I was always questioning things and feeling sure that I would find out the truth and, I will make this one crumble like the other religion I grew up with. So I kind of felt like, sure, I'm gonna come, but, I'm probably gonna tear this one apart like the other one. I was just so arrogant. Anyway, so instead of tearing it down like I thought I would, I was actually very surprised because something actually sparked in me. And for those of you who knows me, you will know that I am not the kind of person that just believe in something, anything. I would normally question it like a million times before I actually be able to believe in something so strongly. So when I first encountered this figure, Jesus Christ, I was thinking to myself, he was just a prophet, right? Like I grew up knowing or educated that Jesus or Isa was just a prophet. And so when I first came to church and everybody was praising Jesus and all of that, and I was like, what's the big deal? I mean, I know Christianity, or so I thought I knew, but then I started to ask a lot of questions like, did Jesus actually exist, or was he just this figure that a lot of people kind of like made up in order for us, humanity, to have some sort of moral compass? Or did he actually God? Did he say that he was God anywhere in the Bible? And then coming back to the evidence, because I really like evidence. I don't like to just believe based on what I feel, because I feel like that's not necessarily foundationally strong. So I kind of like ask questions also around evidence. What were the evidence that A, he actually existed, and B, he actually died, and C, what does it say about he being resurrected? What was the evidence of that? So I kind of like studied that over and over again for about 2 years in total. Studied a lot of manuscripts, video debates from experts, history, eyewitness accounts, the Bible itself, the Quran, just to kind of like compare and try to see, what is it really? Is this actually something solid, or is this just a human or man-made type of religion again? So I ended up studying this around 2 years after that. I really tried to go deeper into the evidence and what the data is telling me, because I've always been a logical person. And the more I study, the more it's hard for me to not believe, because there are way too many coincidences and evidence that actually point to the fact that Jesus Christ was not only existed, but he also was what everybody was saying, which was this very moral and an amazing perfection guy that have been helping people and showing a lot of different miracles. And in fact, he's actually been stating in different places that he is God. And then he just happened to died and resurrected exactly as he says 3 days after. And over 500 people witnessed that in many different regions, which was crazy. So there are so many different evidences that points to the fact that all of this is actually the truth. I will go through more of this in a separate video, because I feel like I won't be doing it justice if I just like mention it like this. I will go deeper into the evidence and all of that if you guys want to know, because I feel like that's an important baseline before we talk about anything else. But I'm just highlighting it in here because that moment of life really shaped who I am as a person. And coming back to present moment, that's the reason why I created this YouTube channel, because I really want to put my story out there. I have a very strong conviction that this is what God wants me to do, that every single pain that I experience, the suffering, the success, the learnings, they are not just for me alone. I feel like if there's anything I can do to help other people is to share my story as authentic, as honest as possible. And that is the reason why I am here right now speaking in this video. And I want you to know, watching my videos right now and also in the future, there might be some stuff that is emotionally provoking or thought-provoking. Because I feel like, number one, I'm not afraid in talking about things that are taboo or the things that people, don't like about or anything. Because a lot of the time in my life, I feel like when we're being emotionally vulnerable, and we're trying to be honest and have that kind of honest and confronting conversation, that is actually when the truth and the freedom normally live. So my goal is to keep this channel really raw and as it is, very authentic. I'm hoping it to be unpolished and honest, and I will be talking about things around faith, single motherhood, entrepreneurship, mental health, all the things in between and around that. I'm a single mom of 2. I live in Bali. I'm a real human being that you probably pass through if you live in Bali. I'm not trying to be an expert here or anything. I'm still walking the narrow path myself and trying to figure it out as I go. And this is the reason why this channel is called The Narrow Path, because I feel like my life, when I look back, it has been filled with series of narrow paths, which are the paths that weren't popular, that weren't obvious, that mostly are uncomfortable. But I notice now a lot of patterns that a lot of them are actually going towards the freedom that I've always been questioning and looking for all my life. So my goal here is simple. I really hope that at least one of you that are watching this video could think a little bit differently by watching what we're gonna go through together, question things honestly and from the core, from the heart, not being afraid of what people think about how you feel and how you think and how you do things, and to be less alone. And I feel like if at least one of you can achieve that, then this channel has done its job. Having that said, welcome to The Narrow Path.